Hello again, it's me, Lee Benson, reading No Naked Walls, wonderful artwork by Glenn Badham, a fantastic artist by the way. And today I continue my sojourn down on the southwestern coast, and today it is Act 4, Scene 1, somewhere around chapter 50ish, I don't know, it doesn't matter, we're getting near the end. Sitting on a bench by the River Tamar, watching the sun go down. Slow boats and sails, Union Jack flag gently blowing in the breeze, and the sound of kids running down the hill. The occasional laughter and an odd dog bark, the sea sparkles, and the haze forms on the distant land. It's idyllic. I venture over the border into Cornwall. Apparently to Cornish folk this is a separate country, while to Divernians it's a place over the bridge where no one goes or should ever go to. Well, not being either, I venture across one of Brunel's masterpieces completed in his lifetime and turn down the small road onto the Cornish side of the River Tamar. This happens to be amazingly located right by a pub with a bronze life-size figure of Brunel, complete with his tall chimney hat standing proudly in front. I stroll up and down the river and find great views of the bridges plus the old boats bobbing around. And after a few moments I realise it's a bit chilly and the wind is ripping through my jacket. Brisk fresh air. It's bloody freezing, but I'm determined to paint outside, although the wind has reminded me of the temperature. My brushes are rolling freely on the bench, but luckily my paper is attached in book form, so at present won't fly off down the river. The real problems are my fingers. They're turning blue, but at least the sun's out and it's not raining, so I'm going to stick to it. After 10 minutes, I notice several large, muddy, grey-brown swans paddling downstream in formation. Another moment cruises by and they all turn round towards the bank and waddle out. I do believe they're eyeballing me. They continue their journey in my direction, akin as much as anything to a gang of bikers. Well, pissed off really for some inexplicable reason, hissing and looking menacing. Valiantly, I continue sketching, keeping an eye on the gaggle as they continue their approach. The lead bird has attitude, I swear it. He walks up to the bench and pecks at the brush. Next another picks up a tube of paint and suddenly 6 large feathered gangsters are going for me. A polite shoo has no effect. Scram! Sod off you buggers! I stand and flail my arms about to defy my assailants. No joy. One goes for my knee, which I must add hurts and makes me jolt. This isn't funny. I'm being attacked by these creatures. So much for sharing Mother Nature. I move quicker than normal further down the jetty, only to find that they're following me. Suddenly there's a loud bang and the birds stop and turn their necks towards the pub. A rather portly chap with massive sideburns hurls a pail of something or other in their direction, and all except one waddle over to sample the contents. The last bird hisses one more time, making a lunge for my shoes, and only then does it turn and follow the gang. I go to repossess my paints, which have been scattered everywhere. Little bastards. Correction, large, ugly bastards. The safest place appears to be the pub. I walk in and stand by the fire. The staff are laughing. Is that at me? Hell's teeth, my handsome. That were right amusing. We were going to place a bet to see who's going to win. Bloody close, I say. Whiskey, please. Large one. No ice, thanks. You're not from round here, then, says Mr. Sideburns. Another chap leaning on the bar says, Them birds ate everyone. You were sat in their landing spot. Tut, tut. Shouldn't do that again if I were you. Seems like I'm the entertainment for the day. Them birds rule the jetty. You can see how they be when they don't like the colour of a launch or a jacket. I saw a woman throw a vest at one bird. Boobs popped out and all. She was in such a right tizzy. Nice pair, mind. Enough of this bird talk, feathered or not. Are you still serving lunch? Well, only got a couple of pasties left, says the barman. But you have a sign saying home-cooked food served all day. Yeah, well, that was up until yesterday. The chef turned and left enough. There's a chip shop back uphill. You can bring it back here if you want to sup a decent pint with it. I smile, nay, grimace, at the barman. How jovial and helpful. The thought of lashings of gravy on a hot roast lunch evaporates from my mind. Doom bar, please. Back in a tick. It's no warmer as I pace up the steep street to the steamed-up window of the chip shop. You from the pub, then? How can you tell? Never seen you before, and you're the 8th stranger today. Chef must have left again. Yeah, you're right on all counts. Haddock and chips, please. Mushy peas, no salt and vinegar tar. Here you go. as he shovels the fresh hot chips onto the paper and extracts a long juicy piece of fish from under the glass of the counter. "Better take some extra chips for them lot down there." I pay and stroll back down to my freshly poured pint. "Chippy says to give you some chips," and I place the wrapped bundle on the bar. 2 plates arrive with ketchup. Voila! "No charge," says the barman. The birds are a distant memory as I tuck in. 3 pints later and I feel warmer, fuller, and a little drunk. Only a little, mind. "Anywhere cheap to stay around here?" I ask. The barman, now known to me as Tim the Keg, tells me that his sister has a B&B not far and rings to confirm the booking. Great service. More beer. The place is filled up. The company's good and the sun is setting. It's tough being an artist, you know. Act 4, Scene 2. The B&B is clean and simple in taste. White IKEA furniture and everywhere painted white to match. I wait to find the sunlight already peeking through the curtains. I'm not wasting any time indoors. I skip breakfast and polite conversation with people I don't want to talk to, and I venture to my next location, the Jenny Cliff. It's the cafe, right on the edge. It's situated on the headland not far from Plymouth, and the views are dramatic, and yet it has an air of time standing still, with the breakwater and Drake's Island enhancing the panorama. There are yachts and large boats moving in slow motion, and a big Union Jack flag gently curling around the flagpole beside the cafe. It seems the whole of Plymouth has woken early, and the air is full of the sound of kids running down the hill with peals of laughter, as well as the odd dog barking away at anything that moves. The sea sparkles and the haze forms on the distant land. It's idyllic. Again. I set out my equipment on the bench, and lo and behold, a seagull decides to drop his morning's breakfast on me. Now, some folks say that's a sign of bringing good luck. I say something entirely different, but the wind kindly carries my harsh words out to sea. There's one slight problem, I find out to my detriment. The bench I choose is placed precariously close to a large drop behind. Wait for it. Sharp breeze starts by clutching the paper and redistributing the sheets all over the grassy slope. Then the wind very carefully pushes one of my brushes through a gap on the seat and sends it rolling down the verge. All right, I'm being challenged. I get it. Firstly, knighted by birdship, followed closely by a hazard of a windy gust, and now, as I try to retrieve a brush too far, I slip and fall backwards down the slope, a triple reverse roll, and thud. I look up at the sky, and then nothing. I don't know how long nothing lasts, but I open my eyes, and it feels a lot later than when I inadvertently closed them. There are 3 youngish lads, maybe aged 9 or 10, staring at me. "You all right, mister?" says the first lad. "We've been watching you for ages, seeing if you're dead like," says the second lad with a look of disappointment on his face. "I said you were," says the third lad. "Ha, see, I win. He's not dead. Look, he moved." The first lad punches the air with his fist. Yes! I suddenly realise my head is hurting, nay thumping, and my ribs aren't talking to me. I try to sit up and fail miserably. Diagnostic time. Ooh, ouch. Maybe a broken rib or 2, large bump on head. Nothing too serious is the general consensus. Fell over a ridge and hurt myself. "Are them your paints and stuff up there?" The second lad points towards us. "Yep," I reply. "Oh shit," says the third lad. "Don't swear, tosser," says the first lad to the second lad, shoving him hard. "We only played a bit with them," says the third lad sheepishly. Then they run off rather quickly. I slowly manage to stand up and even more slowly climb back up the slope to see what was happened to my equipment. My rather expensive pad is full of drawings of battleships, racing cars and planes, all emblazoned in the green colours of a certain football team identified the statement, "Plymouth Argyle rules." One tube of zinc white has been emptied of its content in a long line across the grass. There goes 20 quid. I'm too sore to be bothered, and I open my hip flask, which by an excellent coincidence holds just the right amount of Irish whiskey to ensure I remain in a state not to care. Eventually the pain recedes, and I produce quite a nice sketch, even if I say so myself. I drain the whiskey and walk over to the cafe. The place is packed with well-tempered parents and their noisy kids. Or is it well-tempered kids and noisy parents? 6 dogs, which are all sitting quietly, tied to a rail by the front door, eagerly espy me as a potential dog lover. I walk up to the counter. The assistant, looking like an art student, greets me. "That was a stupid thing to do. You look so funny. Are you okay?" She has a strong accent. "You're a long way from home. Thanks for noticing the entertainment. No charge. I could murder a strong black coffee and some toast, please. Do you want clotted cream with that? No thanks. Everyone has clotted cream with everything down here. Well, not me. I'm doing my own art down here. Can I look at what you've been painting? With pleasure, when you bring me my order. I find the only available table with a rickety chair. It must be my cheerful destiny to seek out and locate all potential seating dangers. I take out my sketchbook and pencil and try to catch the buzz of this obviously popular cafe. Here's your toast and coffee. Have you got a tab? I won't do a runner, I'll pay you. Nah, mate, a fag, a tab, a fag, a ciggy. Sorry, I don't smoke. Oh, never mind, late. Let's see then. I open the pad to show my latest watercolour. It's canny, light. I think she meant it's good. I'm sure it is, but what do you think as a student of the arts? It's all right, that. Thanks. Do you sell them or just paint, light? I'm collecting for an exhibition and I've sold a few along the way. You should do big oils, man. No one treats watercolours with respect. I mean, they're all nice, like, but you don't get dirty and covered in paint. I smile. I can do dirty, but not while I paint. She ignores my attempt at repartee and turns and ventures back to the bustle indoors. I just love taking the time to watch the world go by. It's something I really never had the time to do as a gallery owner, and after 50 minutes of doing absolutely nothing, a rather large bloke tattooed from head to toe walks across my line of sight. What are you looking at, mate? The world going by, I say. I still hate being called mate. Well, stop looking at me, right? I wasn't aware. I was exclusively looking at you, or your collection of tattoos, come to think of it. You think you're so bloody clever, you sort, bleeding arty-farty types. You queer or something? The mood is not quite what you expect from a quiet Devon cafe. Bill, piss off. Leave him alone. He's a nice, quiet artist. The Geordie assistant turns Saviour's back. He's staring at me all funny and I don't like the way he's looking around. Well, why don't you let me do a sketch of you, I chip in, trying to diffuse the situation. You're weird, you perv. How'd you like if I rearrange your head all over that table? This is going in the wrong direction. Not too hot on that idea, I'm afraid. Next second, a large volume of water splatters over Bill, launched with precision by Miss Geordie. He's standing there soaking wet and open-mouthed with nothing coming out. Wet on wet, great technique. Looks like you've applied just the right amount of water. He always causes a fuss in here, the big wuss. Coffee on the house for the aggro. Thanks, that's nice. Meanwhile, Bill retreats to his Ford car, which to a car snob like me says a lot about him. She returns with a coffee. Okay, watercolours can be fun too. We both chuckle. Would you have really drawn him? Well, we'll never know, will we? Act 4, Scene 3. I blame my Irish descendants and Guinness for this next episode. I'm walking around Plymouth as it's wet and not at all like a summer's day. The wind is blowing too hard to paint outside, so I merrily find a watering hole up some side street. It's an Irish bar, a bit like walking into a real Dublin pub with a wooden floor and dark interior. There are Celtic signs and just about every Irish flag imaginable hanging from the ceiling. And there's a rather petite lass with her hair tied tight back, propped her elbows on the bar, waiting for something to happen. The place is quiet, apart from a couple hunched together. An old chap reading a paper and an even older yellow Labrador chasing a slightly mangled rubber ball across the floor. The dog stops when someone's foot or a bar stool leg blocks the ball. It barks, the ball is kicked, and the dog chases off, skidding across the floor to catch it again. Riveting, you might say, or not. But something told me that the old black and white stuff ought to be worth sampling. I go up to the bar. Bit wet outside. Yeah, always is down here, says the barmaid. Pint of Guinness, tar. Where are you from then? You're not from down here. For sure. I'm visiting and taking in the scenery. Don't sound like you come from London. Weird lot them are. I'm not. Try further up the M5. Oh, I don't know, as long as you're not from Stoke-on-Bloody-Trent. Any reason you don't like Stoke, I say? Oh, a tosser of an ex up his own he was. Stick to the Navy, my dad used to say. Was your dad right then? Not bloody likely. He buggered off with my mum's best friend and my ex-husband was an officer down here. He's pissed off and all. By the time I've heard her life story, without letting her have the least idea where I'm from, the Guinness is poured to perfection. Here you go. The barmaid looks pleased with her skills, and rightly so. Thanks. I take a sip. It's smooth, creamy, not too cold, and slightly addictive. This is a bad sign. I'm sure another might beckon soon. There's a knock against my foot. I look down to see the dog staring up at me. Must be my turn. I gently kick the ball, but the dog just looks and plonks his full weight on my feet. The man reading the paper looks up at me. It's all right, he's getting on a bit, give him a moment. I can't easily negotiate the extrication of my foot as I'm right up against the bar. Oh well, it's still raining and there's nowhere else to go. A few minutes later, with a large yawn, the dog shuffles to his feet and slowly strides over to the ball, which is in the middle of the empty floor. I find a table in the shaded window and take my sketchbook out. How do you capture this place? It's great. I start by supping for more and help me to absorb the atmosphere, and to my surprise the Guinness is gone and I have to persuade myself to have another. Same again, please. Barmaid is looking a bit inquisitive. What are you doing then? I'm trying to capture the ambience of the place. The what? The ambience, the atmosphere, the mood. It's great. You're not spying or nothing. No, I'm an artist. I ain't doing nothing wrong, honest. I said I'm an artist. I'm trying to sketch the inside of this pub, capture its character. You better stick around for later if you want character. Mixed band will be playing. They're well good, proper foot tapping stuff. Right characters, a lot of them. Well, there's no law against staying indoors to paint en plein air inside, lesson number 3. I think it's funny. The barmaid doesn't. She curls her upper lip and walks off. Obviously you need to be on the Guinness to appreciate my sense of humour. I resume my non-spying, trying to catch the atmosphere on my notepad. Within this hour the place has filled up and the dog is having a tough time of playing ball, but still continues to bark, only now at many more feet. The noise level has also risen considerably. It's more like Grand Central Station, and 2 more staff had miraculously appeared to start serving the ever-growing masses. Another few minutes and it's impossible to concentrate on my sketching. A mightily tall chap with long flaming red hair strolls in carrying a violin case. Look after this, will yez? And he places it on the table over my pad. He returns with 4 pints of Guinness, deposits them on the table and goes back to the bar, returning with another 2 pints. Have one on me, the lads will be here in a bit. Oh, that's most kind, sir. Not at all, we're going to be sharing your table. Slanta. Slanta to you. Are you in the band? I'm sure I might do a turn if asked. You never know your luck. I used to be in the band, you know. Bet you didn't play the penny whistle, though. Nor rattle the spoons. Guitar, actually, a long time ago. When I had hair. We used to do a mean version of Whiskey in the Jar. Ah, Jesus, you don't need hair to play a musical instrument. Were you any good? I suppose so, I say. I'll ask Mick for you, and you can do a turn twanging your strings. I'm sure one of the lads will lend you a guitar. Meanwhile, the Guinness is flowing too freely. My shout, same again. Oh, the lads aren't here yet. Have another one of these. We clink glasses again and make a toast to a once a muso, always a muso. I'm now feeling very relaxed. I've not eaten lunch, although they say the Guinness is as good as a meal, in which case I must have drunk 4 courses, but who's counting? Mick and his cronies walk in. They all seem to have long flaming red hair, and they're all sporting beards as impressive as the gold diggers of 49. How you doing, little Millie? Mickey slaps McInnes sharing pal on the back. Yeah, better, you big bollocks, and turns to me. Mick's me little brother. Little is not the operative word here. The pair of them would make great prop forwards for any rugby team. I'm tall, but they both tower over me. I was told your band is full of character and worth waiting for. My round, I believe. Guinness all round, I assume? Right-o, so, wait and find out. Swaying ever so slightly, I make my way to the bar. On returning, I find the brothers are looking through my notepad. I was just having a peek. Did you draw all this lot? They're fucking great. Guilty as charged, I say. Sure, why don't you do a painting of us playing? We could use it, like, for the next CD. Biddy pipes up. Live in the pub. Halfway through my 5th pint, I agree. Then nature calls. How the hell am I going to capture this band live? The floor is full and there's no sight line to speak of. A drunken idea emerges. I'll stand on the table. I actually managed to get to the bar and ask someone if it's okay, as Mick wants me to sketch the band here and now. That someone happens to be the manager. As long as you don't fall off and break your bloody neck, I don't give a flying. So here I am, armed with charcoal, pencil and pad, standing on an old table in an Irish bar in Plymouth, sketching a mad Cayley band while under the influence of far too many pints of Guinness. Now that's what you call artistry. Mick's band is really good, and the place is going for it. I nearly get knocked off the table by overzealous dancers and more or less finish the task when Mick looks me out. Hey fella, come down and join us. Sean, give me artist friend here a guitar. Oh well, There's only one thing to do. I clamber down and join the band. To play, you guess right, Whiskey in the Jar. My fingers are a bit rusty, but you know what? They seem to work. And what's more, we get a loud cheer. Thanks a lot, Mick. I stay with the band for a jam before taking my leave by jumping off the raised stage. Well, more like a pallet really, but once a muso, always a muso. I smile with contentment. That was fun. I didn't quite catch your name, fella, says Mick. I didn't give it, I reply, being patted and thumped on the back as I try to meander back to the safety of the table to collect my gear. 3 girls. Well, I say girls, they're more like Amazonian tribal bouncers, are leaning on the bar. They have more tattoos on them than tattoo parlour advert. Scary. Look at that bloke on the table before, says the largest of the 3. She sports an amazing blonde, dried-out peroxide hairdo and purple lipstick, matched with her leopard skin patterned short skirt and an unbelievable high heel purple shoes. She and her friends look as if they've walked straight out of Beryl Cook painting. Cook, as you know, was a famous artist from Plymouth. I am that man. I take a bow. Aren't you a bit old to be standing on tables, lover boy, says Amazonia number 2. I wonder whether I should explain my actions. Well, why not? I'm an artist and I was catching the band for their forthcoming CD. Well, it sounds good, though why I'm trying to impress these ladies I'll never know. Well, I do, but I won't admit to the Guinness effect. Ooh, an artist. Well, we're all models, aren't we, girls? Yeah, how about you draw us? Unfortunately, I'm leaving here tomorrow, otherwise it'd been a pleasure. You don't know what you'll be missing, giggles number 3. You'll have to come down again, we're always here on a Friday night. I give another bow and hastily leave the pub. It seemed wise. Thank you very much. Till next time.